Okay, a very good evening to everyone. We are just waiting for all your friends to join in. Just give us 2 minutes. We have a lot of people in the waiting room. We want everyone to come in and benefit from today's session. Please. Thank you so much.
So what is the approximate age group of the listeners today, Devesh? Can we get a... Today's live is with a very interesting company called Unmath. And they are going to ask me what it is to be like a dietitian and how me, who had an extreme fear of math, is now living with maths. Interesting, right? There will be a lot of healthy debates, a lot of healthy recipes, and a lot of healthy trackers shared as well. So make sure that you are tuned to this. Devesh, can I know the exact age group, approximate age group, if at all?
These are all 10 years and above children, 10 to 18 years old.
Perfect.
And they all are super excited to have you.
Oh, that's nice.
And yeah, I think we've got a great attendance today. We've almost 288. Wow. Okay, so I think we can get started without wasting much of our time. All those who join in now will follow up from there. So, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the next Math Talk. And today we have with our guest, Kathy Rupani, who... Wait a minute. Let us not break the ice like this. Let's try and do something interesting before we actually start today's Math Talk. I am going to run a poll for exactly 30 seconds. Now, in these 30 seconds, I want everyone to respond to this poll. There's no correct answer. It can just be an assumption. I want you to answer this, and I repeat, this is only going to be live for 30 seconds. We can show some excitement to Kathy ma'am by responding to this. Come on.
I am excited
I'm
now.
going to show this.
What is the poll?
Let's get started. Okay, here we go. Okay, so the timer has started. We have 25 seconds to go. I want everyone to start voting. Quick.
Guess the correct ratio of carbohydrates to protein in a balanced diet. It is 9:2. And then
1:1. We have 1:10 or 4:1.
Wow.
And we are getting some great responses. 25% have already voted, and that's exciting. Chalo, I think kids are getting very cautious about the food that they eat, and I think it's the right time. Okay. With this, we also crossed our 300 mark, all 300 kids who've joined us. I've extended the time a little bit for the ones who've just joined us right now. So we'll keep this poll active for another 30 seconds, just that everybody gets an equal chance to participate. Good. Interesting.
Guess the correct ratio of carbohydrates to protein in a balanced diet. It'll be exciting to see 10-year-olds knowing this.
Yeah, actually, honestly, when I was a kid, I would not know this. I'll be very frank about that.
We used to just eat everything. Kya pata, protein,
Yes.
Carbohydrate, who cares?
I know. Excellent. So I think 72% have already voted. Another 5 seconds and we close this poll. And here we stop. Okay. So based on what we've got a response, we see there is 34% 9:2, while second highest is 4:1. Now, before we discuss this, let us introduce our speaker for the day today, who is going to add value in what exactly this whole thing actually makes sense. So with us today, we have Ms. Kathy Rupani, who's also, a very, I would say, passionate speaker with kids. I've seen her so many videos talking to so many children. She's a nutritionist, she's a dietitian, and a degree holder from IHMCPAN. She's driven by passion to heal people through healthier eating habits, which I think we all need right now. She joined Lilavati Hospital, becoming her youngest chef dietitian. She also helped people overcome diabetes, liver disorders, and kidney diseases. Well, now that's something to look forward to. We all are young, and if we take the right steps and the right food, we do have something interesting for our life then. We also are thrilled to know that she was just at the age of 23 when she wrote a book, Getting Rid of Obesity, and has since then featured in many newspapers and magazines. I think that's a fabulous thing. We must give a big round of applause to her. At least we can give her a virtual clap, everyone.
Thank you.
She has also been, she's also been, from there on, she started moving on to create her own venture, BalanceNutrition.in, an online nutrition providing service that has helped over 15,000 people worldwide manage their weight, cholesterol levels, and even cancer. Balanced Nutrition's work has been recognized by several big outlets like Times Group, Bombay Times, Radio City. She's a celebrity in short. I don't want to go on, but yes. So we are all very, very happy to have you with us today. And thank you so much for taking your time. Now, since you're with us over here, now I think the poll does make sense. What do you think about this? What is the response that you think that they've given us?
Yes, the answer is 4:1.
Okay.
Yes.
Interesting.
For every 4 parts of carbohydrates, you need to add 1 part of protein to your diet.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yes.
That's great. So, thank you so much for sharing that. But of course, for all the kids, those who have just joined us, I'd like all to know that this is not going to be just a typical class. This is not going to be a normal conversation. Today, we intend to understand from from Kathy ma'am, that how exactly has she learned, what actually drove her to actually become a nutritionist, and we'll understand her experiences. And of course, we'll understand how math was involved in all of this. So, welcome on the show, ma'am, once again.
Thank you, Devesh. Thank you so much.
Great. So great to have you. Would you like to share a few words about your journey and what you really love doing and what drove you to actually become a nutritionist?
Okay, sure. I never wanted to become a nutritionist. This was by chance. So the first thing I wanted to do was to become a doctor. So, back then when we were studying, it was all about PCMB, So for me, it was only PCB. M never featured. Maths was like a big task for me, which I hated ever since multiplication came in, After that, me and math were never good friends. Yes, ratio was like, oh my god, ye kahan aa gaye? So for me, it was just scraping through when it came to math. But yes, things are different now. Now it is all about overall percentage. Now math is very important because the way math is taught is also now very, very different. I have a 11-year-old myself. So I can see all these kids, their pictures, and their videos. They are all exactly like, I think the age of my child. So yes, Trisha learns a lot of math. Trisha's math is a lot more fun. But yes, back then, I don't know, I hated math. Hated it from the bottom of my heart. Right? So for me, it was all about becoming a doctor. Luckily or unluckily, I don't know. But then there was CET that happened. And in that entrance exam, what happened was, I did not fare very well. So I was not getting admission in Mumbai. Okay, I think it was again to do with the math that came in physics. Otherwise, my bio and all was very good. So yes, I did not get very good marks, and I was getting admission in dentistry. So I was like, yuck, who's going to see people's dirty mouths? So I didn't take up that, and I decided, chalo, when you have that, when you want to become like a big styler. So I was like, who cares? I'm going to give my master's, I'm going to give the CET again. Let's take a break for a year. And that is when my mom found out about this course, and she said, break le hi rahi hai, so might as well go do some time pass in college and come. So that is when I enrolled in BSc Nutrition from SVT College, which is a part of SNDT. And when I went in, I was amazed because I had physiology, I had a lot of subjects, and it had a lot to do with, biology, it had biochemistry, it was everything that I wanted to do. And yes, the first semester itself turned things around. Wapas CET dene jana hi nahi pada. And I did my graduation, but yes, math never left me. वहाँ पे भी biochemistry था, ratio था. I mean, whatever you eat, how many biscuits you ate, or it was how many bowls of basundi you had, or how many gulab jamuns you had. So it was always numbers and numbers. They never left me. Our exchange list was numbers. We have an exchange list as to kitna khana, kitna calorie, kitna protein, kitna fat, kitna carbohydrates. So all of that was always numbers and numbers. But see, I fared well.
I must say that's quite an interesting journey. And let me tell all the kids, the minute they see this is a math talk, usually everyone expects there'll be a math geek who's going to talk about math, somebody who loves math. But well, today's guest does not love math, and that is where all of you can come together. I'm not saying everybody has to hate math, but if anybody has a little bit of fear towards the subject, well, everyone has that little fear, little anxiety when it comes to this subject. But we have seen that even someone who fears math a lot in school, like Khyati has said, that she has actually used it so intensively in a daily purpose, and that is what
Devesh, I don't know if this will set a good example, but in 12th standard, entrance exams had just started. When I started giving my, when I finished my 12th, science 10 plus 2, so entrance exams na just shuru hue the. So we were all the more happy that, chalo, your 12th standard board marks are not going to be counted at all. So there was a time in 12th standard when, in 12th there is math 1 and math 2. So I somehow survived math 1 का board exam. लेकिन जो math 2 का board exam था, I was sweating because मुझे कुछ नहीं आता था. I don't know. I think I must have answered probably 2 questions, and I left. The examination hall, because it was all about integers, integration, derivatives, those heavy things. So I left, and फिर marks आए, so you have this 99 in bio, you have 96 in chemistry, and you have 91 in physics and maths. So I be this superstar who says breakup चाहिए. So I go to the college and I say to my administrator कि breakup क्या है. तो he is very happily, he didn't even look up, पहले वो physics का marks बताया, bio का बताया, chemistry का, and then math में he's giving me a look. He's like, actually who's this sample? So it was 18 plus, no, it was 17, देगा अभी भी addition नहीं आ रहा है. I think it was 18 plus 15 plus 2 marks grace. And he looked at me, he's like, wow, thanks to CET and entrance exams that you will be scraping through life. But I did. Acha chala.
That's nice. That's good to hear. The fact that, math, when you don't, I think maybe it was the way when you learned and you approached math.
Yes.
Maybe you never realized that why it was even there.
See, we never had QMath, Unmath. We never had these beautiful apps. We never had PPTs. Pata nahi, ek baar wo, you were, in school, I was like this big scholar, who was doing well. Or ek math ki wajah se, I started getting, hits. And I think that is where mentally also I started hating it. Because of math, your aggregate would drop. And that time aggregate till 10th standard was important.
Excellent. I completely agree.
So honest, see?
So, I know. Okay, so I think what we can focus on out here is that when we actually focus on math in general, like your daily life and in your daily routine that you see, it's very interesting to identify that how, like you just started with a poll, and I would say when you give an answer 4:1, I would want you to elaborate a little bit more, like what do you mean by 4:1 to the kids, because now ratios is like your daily way of communicating with people.
Yes. In fact, every single recipe, so we have an app, wow. And the app was everything but numbers. So right from the time a case comes to me, the case starts with what is your weight and height.
Correct.
है ना? So numbers start entering your life then. And then you have to find out what is the ideal weight. And then you have to again chalk out a table which is, excellent, which is like age and height and male and female and body frame. So suddenly in like one sheet you have 200 numbers floating around. Which initially would have been quite a task. But now we love it. In fact, we programmed it also in our app. Then comes the fact that you have to, in numbers, identify something called as BMI. Okay, BMI is an indication of how overweight the person is. and we have to give a ratio. So हमारा ratio वहाँ पे भी आ जाता है. In BMI, we ask the person, how overweight are you? And उसकी भी categories है. If the BMI is, say, below 25, the guy is normal, good, healthy. If the BMI is 25 to 30, 29.9, he's overweight. Then he's obese grade 1, obese grade 2. So these are also ratios which come into life daily. Another ratio, health is full of ratios. Another ratio that we want or we'd rather always see is waist to hip ratio. Everybody who has a protruding tummy, uska waist zyada hota hai na? So the waist to hip ratio also tells us, in fact, that how prone is someone to diabetes, how prone is someone to hypertension and other disorders. So that is also something extremely important that we get to know. Given all this, हम एक synopsis बनाते हैं client के लिए. We tell the client this is where you are and this is how you will fare. So that is also full of numbers. So the whole 3-4 months of the client journey is numbers. Even when it comes to clinical cases, there is a cholesterol value. Oh, you kids must have got it, no? Papa, mama must be discussing test karana hai, report aaya. So when reports come, those reports are nothing but what is your cholesterol, and then daddy is worrying his cholesterol is high, mama is worrying that dad's cholesterol and HDL are high and low, right? So these are the situations where again the normal values are given in a range and a ratio. So from someone who did not want numbers in her life, it is only numbers. So these are, yes, so these are where ratios come into the picture. When we go into foods also, it is all about how much 1 ml of alcohol will have calories, or how much 1 ml of oil will have how many calories, what is the fat content of say 1 teaspoon of ghee. Everything, it's just numbers. Even ratios, we plan a thali, right? All of you must be eating rotis, all of you must be eating a good vegetable, a dal. So how much should be your roti, how much should be the dal, what should be the ratio of rotis to dal? So these are all the factors that come into the picture when we are actually planning a ratio and a meal.
Interesting. In fact, I think this is one area which I wanted to discuss, how BMI actually plays an important role. Like, I want to bring in the math aspect out here.
Right.
This is my understanding.
Right.
Please correct me if I'm wrong. You have to run a BMI test for every individual.
It's very simple. We do it.
Yes.
We run.
Why do we do it? Why can't we have a standard BMI? That's because everyone's body structure is different.
Yes, height is different, weight is different.
So all the conditions are different, right? So
yes.
That is why I think this BMI becomes a way to get everything back on the same platform, and that's when I think you use some sort of comparison to try to make it a little more equal, and that's where I think ratios actually play an important role. Because
that's right.
You don't say you are 500 grams overweight. You say that you are overweight because of your BMI is high. I mean, of course, you do give specific numbers as well, but I think the way to assess that is going to be based on ratio, right?
Yes.
So yes, all the children, those who are listening, she did use a lot of numbers now, which is making a lot of sense. But again, there are question marks about things like, okay, why did I do integration? I think that's things which we have to come out and understand in our education system. But if you ask me the basic logical things, I don't think she could have avoided any of them, and those all were very important, which back then did not make sense, but now of course it's making a lot of sense to her. So thank you so much into that. Now, I was just wondering that, before we go to the next question, a lot of us have heard things about, drinking good amount of water. Why don't we ask all our kids that, what is the right amount of water you need to actually consume?
Correct.
Let me tell everyone, this poll was not even decided by Miss Kathy, so she does not know the answers. She might even disregard all of them are not the accurate one. So let's hear what we all think, and let's hear what she has to say towards the end. So are you all ready for another poll? But this time strictly 30 seconds because we're running short on time. And since most of you are already here, 30 seconds is it. I'm launching another poll, and then we will discuss that further. And now you go. Come on, quick, everyone. I want to know, what do you guys think about it? I think this is a very good audience. They are so fast.
How many glasses of water are ideal to consume in a day? Okay. Very nice question. I would like to, explain kids about this.
So can you believe in 22 seconds, 75% has voted. That's
Very
the kind
nice.
of interaction that we have. Wow. Great. So I'm extending it by 10 more seconds just to make sure that everyone is able to participate. Just 5 more seconds, guys. Come on, quick. 82% have already voted. Faster. And that's it. Stop. We are going to share the results with Khyati and see what does she have to say. What do you think about this?
What is 61% on, Divesh? I'm sorry.
8 classes. 8 classes.
8 classes. Very good. Now, if I have to explain to you how to understand how much water to have. Okay. As kids, you all are not, at an age where you are not semi-independent. Most of you are, I think, almost independent. Hai na? So the first thing we must do is we must understand that in your brain. Now see, I am finally a person who loves biology, right? And somebody who loves physiology. So that has to come. ठीक है ना? So all of you have a very good brain, isn't it? In that brain there is a hypothalamus, chotu brain. That chotu brain has signals. Okay, one is a thirst signal and one is a hunger signal. Okay, now given the lockdown, most of you have got your gadgets, which mama and papa used to hate first, right? Now you all are almost here every single day for hours and hours together. Needless to say, आप लोग सब गेम खेलते हो, Zoom call पे friends के साथ बात करते हो, you all are having your fun. But in that, you all are playing a game and you all are at a very interesting phase in your game. But that little signal is telling you, water, I'm thirsty. You ignore it. Then what happens is, by the time you grow up, you're going to become my age. That is also a number, but let's not get there. So
interesting.
So you know what? That signal is going to become very weak. So you don't have to have a number. अभी हर चीज में number नहीं हो सकता, है ना? You must be able to understand the reaction or the signal of the body when it is telling you it is thirsty. Otherwise, what will happen? पता है? You will miss the thirst because it is very close to the hunger signal and you will feel hungry. So there will be a confusion in the brain and you will end up eating more than what you should be eating. है ना? Then all of you will become fat, isn't it? So make sure that don't go by these glasses and amounts and all, but understand whenever you are thirsty. Now it is hot. October is going to come in. You can already feel in Mumbai, you can already feel the heat. So ab you will have to drink 10 or 12 glasses of water. Who knows? When it is winter, you will feel less thirsty. So your thirst, okay, is something that you have to be aware of. Same way when it comes to your nutrition also, right? I know, yaar, I love Nutella. I was 90. Again, if we are talking about numbers, I was 99 kilos myself. Yeah.
Wow.
When I was 26 years old, I was 99 kgs. Right? And it was all numbers only. I will tell you my weight. Now I am 56 kgs. And I am maintaining that. That is also because of, again, amounts. Okay? Initially, I used to eat, say, 7 biscuits or 8 biscuits. Then I stopped and I started at 4. After 4, it was 2. And now, since biscuits, I know how unhealthy they are, I can live without them. Right? So you have to make sure that you are making place for all the unhealthy and the healthy items in your life. But again, it is all about numbers. Okay? I always tell everyone, it is about how much to eat. It's not about ye ganda hai. If you like Nutella, if you like chocolates, if you like cakes, doesn't mean you will eat 1 piece of cake a day, no? Then in 30 days, you will eat 30 pieces of cake. Then you will become a cake yourself. Isn't it? So, count every day. Understood?
Interesting. I think that was very nicely put. Usually people like me who always come up in math would always talk about numbers, how many classes. So
Right.
guys, today Khyati has actually made it very clear to all of you that why of course, this is a number which is good to keep a track, but apart from that, it's a lot more than just a number, and how this whole how to quench your thirst is so important. Only a nutritionist can speak so well about that. So thank you so much for bringing that out to us. Now, as you gave your own example, of losing weight from 99 to 56. It's a huge number, and I'm sure apart from exercising and keeping yourself fit, there's a good amount of eating choices have to be very good. So when you say eating choices have to be very good, I think this one will be a little bit of a bummer, wherein everyone will have to now realize that all the Lays, all the extra packet food that we've been eating and all the Coke that we've been drinking, can you break a little bit of myth around, like, just a casual thing, that what is really how do we drive them to start building healthy eating habits?
Correct. See, when it comes to, we have a lot of kids who are, with us learning about nutrition because they are a little, on the overweight side. Some of them are battling a couple of health issues. But when it comes to kids, there is never a no, isn't it? So all you have to do is, you have to follow these 3 things before you junk up during the day. Okay? I can see a couple of, videos. I can see about 1, 2, 3, 4, about 12, 13 of you. Okay. If I give you, I don't give things just like that. If I give you these 3 tips, I need to know you guys are going to follow it. So if you're going to follow it, raise your hand.
Yes, raise your hand, everyone. I'm also going to follow it. I also need to.
Correct. So you all are going to follow it, isn't it? All of you. Pakki baat. Okay, chalo, done. The first thing you guys have to do is try and include, 2 fruits in your diet. Okay? 2 fruits. These fruits can be any fruits that you like. Okay? So if you have morning school, so between your breakfast and your lunch, let's add 1 fruit. How many of you hate fruits? I love them. Saksham hates fruits. Saksham, wait, I'll give you some other idea. Okay,
I'm not very fond of
not very fond. Chalo, then we'll move to the next. But so far so good. I think 95% of them can live with a fruit.
Yeah, I think a lot of them, and I didn't even I should, but yeah.
Hai na? Perfect. Okay. Now for those who hate fruits, all right. First and foremost, see, y'all have mummies. I to don't have. No, I am a mummy myself, so I have to do it myself. ठीक है ना? Y'all are lucky. So tell mama dear to get 2 fruits. Cut them nicely, and when mama is serving something, she puts coriander leaves on top, dhania, to make it look nice, so that it tastes better. You guys will put something we call as mint, pudina. It is very rich in iron, alright. It is going to change the flavor of your fruits, and it is going to be delicious. Would you do that for me? Make sure it is nice and cold also. It's very hot anyway now. Okay? I'm telling you, any fruit, just add chopped mint on it. Sprinkle a little lime if you like, zing, and you're going to love it. So tip number 1. Tip number 2. I think all of us here eat poha.
Yes.
Yeah? Most of you all eat poha. Perfect. Correct. Now, before eating that poha and putting it in your mouth, promise me that you will put lime on top of your poha, and you will eat it with either 1 orange or 1 banana. You know why? Because poha is rich in iron, and kids today have something we call as anemia. It can be symptomatic, it can be asymptomatic. In anemia, your blood, is not as healthy as it should be, and India there is a problem. So you are all Indian kids, right? All of you? All of them?
Yes.
Perfect.
Yeah, all of them.
So all of you are Indian kids, right? So we are going to eat poha. Okay, I know you love sprinkling save on your poha, but please sprinkle lime on it and eat it after your poha also. Have an orange or have a banana if the orange is not in season. If you like Peru guava, have that also. So you all are going to solve your iron and vitamin C problems. And mama will be so happy because you all are building your immunity.
Interesting.
Okay? How many of you have chocolate every day? This is tip number 3 and last. How many of you have chocolate every day?
Well, not every day, but yeah, it's an alternate day. At least alternate day. Wow.
No?
So now I can admit, yes.
Yeah, it's only me? Chocolate every day? I have
Wow,
one
I think we have a lot
small
of
bite.
them.
My one bar of chocolate lasts 3 weeks. So one small
Oh,
bite
wow.
I have. But that is after practice. Otherwise, one whole bar every day when I was 99 kilos.
Nice.
Okay. How many of you like sweets? Love
That's my weak
sweets.
point. Everyone, yes.
Isn't it? So what we'll be doing is, we will be replacing. So if you are having a chocolate daily, alright, or if you're having a chocolate every alternate day, I want you to twice a week, okay, take that chocolate out. See, again, numbers. 2 times in a week, take the chocolate out and add either an anjeer or a khajur in your diet.
Wow.
Okay, anjeer is a dried fig and khajur is a date. It is very sweet, but it has minerals. Most of the deficiencies in your age group are mineral and vitamin deficiencies. And excess में fat मिलता है आप लोगों की body में. Isn't it?
That's true.
है ना? Got
Yeah.
it? So these are the 3 tips I'm going to give you. Alright?
Excellent. I think that's very fruitful. Now with these 3 tips, I'm sure there's a lot of math involved in these 3 tips also. You
Again,
know,
twice a
creating
week.
fraction.
See?
Yeah,
Yes.
the fraction of chocolate that you're actually consuming.
Right.
The fruit and the amount of fruit that you're eating and the amount of coriander and mint that you're sprinkling on top of it. Again, there's another part to it. You can't overdo that as well. Anything in excess is not good. Having more than 2 fruits is also, having excessive fruits is also not recommended. I'm assuming that you would be
Yes.
the best person to guide that. But in my opinion, that would not make sense. And apart from that, we can also say that all the other habits that you mentioned, lack of minerals, introducing other sweets, which can actually